You lie down in bed, turn off the lights and close your eyes, but instead of falling asleep, your brain turns on a full-length movie of every single mistake you have ever made in your life. You replay a casual conversation you had 3 years ago, dissecting why you sounded awkward. You obsess over an email you sent to your boss 2 hours ago, convincing yourself that a period instead of an exclamation mark means you are about to get fired. Or you build a terrifying worst-case scenario about your future, predicting disaster before anything has even happened. Welcome to the trap of overthinking. Most people believe that overthinking is just a personality trait, that they were simply born with an anxious brain or an overactive mind, but that is a complete lie. Overthinking is not who you are. It is a learned mental habit. It is your brain's misguided attempt to protect you by trying to control things that are fundamentally uncontrollable. The problem is that overthinking doesn't solve problems, it creates them. It paralyzes you from taking action, steals your inner peace, and drains your mental energy until you feel completely exhausted. In this video, we are throwing out useless advice like just relax or stop worrying. I'm going to walk you through 5 concrete mindset shifts that will rewire how your brain handles thoughts, giving you practical, step-by-step tools to quiet the noise and regain control of your mind. Mindset shift 1. Treat your thoughts as passengers, not the driver. The foundational mistake that drives all overthinking is a psychological concept called cognitive fusion. This simply means you treat every single thought that enters your brain as an absolute truth or an urgent directive that requires your immediate attention. When your brain pops up with the thought, "What if I fail?" you automatically react as if failure is guaranteed and already happening. You jump into the driver's seat with that thought and let it steer your entire emotional state for the rest of the day. To stop this cycle, you need to realize a fundamental truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Your brain is simply an automatic story-generating machine. It throws thousands of random, weird and fearful thoughts at the wall every single day just to see what sticks. Imagine your mind is a bus and you are the driver. The thoughts in your head, the worries, the self-doubt, the worst-case scenarios are just noisy passengers sitting in the back seats. When a passenger yells out, "Turn left, we're going to crash," you don't immediately throw the steering wheel to the left. You hear the noise, you acknowledge that the passenger is yelling, but you keep your hands firmly on the wheel and continue driving straight ahead toward your destination. Whenever you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, practice shifting your language. Instead of saying, "I am ruined if this goes wrong," pause and say to yourself, I'm having the thought that things might go wrong. This tiny change in how you speak to yourself creates immediate distance between you and the thought. You move from being consumed by the noise to simply observing the passenger. Once you realize a thought is just a passing sensation, it loses its power to control your actions. Mindset shift 2. Trade the pursuit of certainty for the power of adaptability. At its core, overthinking is a desperate addiction to certainty. Your brain hates the unknown. It views uncertainty as a threat to your survival. So when faced with an uncertain outcome, like waiting for test results, launching a new project, or starting a new relationship, your brain attempts to create fake certainty by analyzing every possible variable 1,000,000 times. You tell yourself, if I just think about this for another 2 hours, I can predict what will happen and prevent any pain. But here is the reality check. You can never eliminate uncertainty. No amount of late-night worrying can predict the future with 100% accuracy. By demanding absolute certainty before you make a decision or feel at ease, you condemn yourself to permanent anxiety. The shift you must make is moving away from chasing certainty and stepping into building trust in your own adaptability. Overthinkers spend all their energy worrying about what if X happens. People who master their minds ask a completely different question. If X happens, can I handle it? The answer is almost always yes. Look back at your past. Every major challenge, unexpected problem, or uncomfortable situation you faced in your life was something you survived and adapted to. You didn't survive those moments because you predicted them 3 months in advance. You survived them because human beings are remarkably good at solving problems in real time. When you trust your ability to adapt to whatever happens, the need to predict every detail vanishes. You stop trying to control the ocean waves and instead focus on your ability to swim. Mindset shift. 3. Replace the analysis loop with the 5-minute action rule. Overthinking creates a dangerous illusion of productivity. When you sit at your desk for 3 hours, researching, analyzing, rereading, and worrying about a project, your brain tricks you into feeling like you are working hard. In reality, you are just hiding. Overthinking is the ultimate form of procrastination. It is a defense mechanism that keeps you safe inside your comfort zone because as long as you are just thinking about something, you can't fail, be judged, or get rejected. Action is the only true antidote to overthinking. Action grounds you in reality, while thinking keeps you trapped in your imagination. To break out of the analysis loop, you must implement the 5-minute action rule. Whenever you catch yourself trapped in a thought loop about a decision or task, whether it's sending a tough email, then going to the gym, or starting a difficult project, you force yourself to take one tiny physical action toward that goal within 5 minutes. If you are overthinking an email you need to send, set a timer for 2 minutes, type out a rough draft without correcting mistakes, and hit send before your brain has time to construct an argument against it. If you are overthinking a workout routine, put on your running shoes immediately. The action does not need to be perfect. It just needs to exist. Imperfect action creates real-world data, while overthinking only generates fake assumptions. Once you take that first physical step, the momentum shifts and the mental fog evaporates. Mindset shift 4. Differentiate between problem solving and ruminating. Many overthinkers defend their habit by saying, "I'm not worrying, I'm just a problem solver." There is a massive critical difference between productive problem solving and destructive rumination, and most people blur the lines between the two. Productive problem solving has a clear structure. It looks at a specific challenge, identifies actionable solutions, chooses a path, and moves toward execution. It moves forward like a straight line. Rumination, on the other hand, is a hamster wheel. It repeats the exact same negative thoughts over and over without ever reaching a conclusion. It focuses entirely on the problem, who is to blame, why it's unfair, and how awful the outcome could be. Rumination never leads to an action plan. It only leads to emotional exhaustion. To stop rumination in its tracks, use the paper test. When a thought is spinning repeatedly in your head, take a physical notebook and a pen. Write down the problem in one clear sentence at the top of the page. Beneath it, write down 2 columns. Things I can control right now and things I cannot control. If the issue falls into the column of things you cannot control, such as someone else's opinion, the economy, or the weather, you cross it out. It is not a problem to be solved, it is a reality to be accepted. If it falls into the column of things you can control, write down one immediate step you can take today. Once you have written down the action step, close the notebook. You have converted chaotic noise into an organized plan. Mindset shift. 5. Normalize imperfection and accept good enough. At the very root of almost every chronic overthinker lies a hidden layer of perfectionism. Perfectionism tells you that if you don't make the absolute best choice, choose the perfect career, say the perfect words, or create the perfect product, you have failed. The fear of making a mistake creates immense pressure, forcing your brain to overanalyze every single option in an attempt to guarantee a flawless outcome. The final shift you must make is embracing the philosophy of satisficing, a term coined by economists to describe choosing an option that meets your criteria for success without wasting energy hunting for the theoretical perfect choice. High-performing people understand that a good decision made quickly is almost always better than a perfect decision made too late. Real life is not a multiple-choice test with one correct answer and 3 traps. Most decisions in life are reversible. If you pick option A and it doesn't work out as expected, you pivot and try option B. You learn, you gather experience, and you adjust your course. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Normalize making imperfect decisions. When you lower the stakes and accept that making mistakes is a normal, healthy part of being human, the pressure on your brain drops immediately. You free yourself from the mental prison of perfectionism and allow your life to move forward. Stopping the habit of overthinking doesn't happen by accident, and it won't happen overnight. It takes consistent practice, patience, and applying these mindset shifts whenever your brain tries to pull you back into the storm. Write in the comments which methods you've already tried and where you got stuck.